Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News this Friday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, one man is dead. 2 people are in custody, and an investigation is underway in a Central Billings neighborhood today. Billings police were called to a home at 612 Terry Avenue just after 1 o'clock this morning, where they found a 36-year-old Billings man dead from an apparent stab wound. About an hour later, a Yellowstone County Sheriff's deputy pulled over a suspect vehicle in Lockwood and arrested 37-year-old Dustin Rodart and 38-year-old Charlotte Rodart. They were taken into custody on probation violations. At this time, no formal charges have been filed directly related to the homicide. Well, this afternoon, the heat is on here in South Central Montana, and Rob Griggs is in for Ed today. He's standing by now with a look at the entire state.
Got the whole picture for you right now as we cruise on into the weekend, and the bottom line is in most locations it's going to be hot. Let's take a look at the map right now. You can kind of see some of those temperatures and tell you what, when you got 70s out there cruising up toward the 80s in western Montana, 80s cruising toward 90s in eastern Montana, it's a good time to remind ourselves that if you have pets, first of all, it's National Pet Appreciation Week, and second of all, we got to make sure they got their water. Here's a couple of famous pets. This is from the Jeanelle Slade home. Tulip and Chug hanging out there. So we've got some MTN stars here. Also MTN's executive producer Tanya Rush. We've got Dipstick, and this is a rescue kitty, 7 years old, and isn't that a pretty kitty? Ice blue eyes too. Now from the Griggs home, I have a picture that I've captioned, "I killed a guy." So that's Wuhan. And Wuhan looks like he's crazy. He's actually a very nice kitty cat, also a rescue cat. Remember, if you rescue a kitty or a puppy, have them spayed or neutered. See, I sound like Bob Barker. Anyway, I'm going to give you a complete look at the weekend statewide forecast in just a little bit, Jeanelle.
All right. Thanks so much, Rob. Well, state health authorities are now reporting 10 new COVID-19 cases today across 5 counties. Gallatin County seeing 6 new cases, while Bighorn, Custer, Lake, and Lewis and Clark counties each reported 1 new case. Late yesterday afternoon, Custer County reported that first confirmed case in its county. That individual is in isolation. There are now 66 active cases reported across Montana, and 7 people are in the hospital. Alluvian, the county health department in Great Falls, is now offering free drive-through COVID testing for anyone. About 2,000 people have tested for coronavirus across the area with only 1 positive case. They hope to increase the number of people tested in order to help mitigate the spread of coronavirus as travel reopens across the country. Now, the testing center is at the former Westgate Mall in Great Falls between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. and 3 on weekends. No appointment is required. Well, Carbon County is ramping up community testing today and tomorrow in Red Lodge for anyone who wants to be tested. It's a kickoff to the surveillance testing that will be done weekly for a percentage of frontline workers in the Red Lodge area. Now, that would include people who work in restaurants and some other businesses to get a sample as the summer goes on and more tourists come to town. Now, the community's drive-through testing is today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Red Lodge High School parking lot at 811 Chambers Avenue North. And they are encouraging all permanent and summer residents in Carbon County to attend. They are using the self-swab technique, where you basically swab the front of your nose with a Q-tip. Well, the nation's experimental COVID vaccine is set to start its final stages of testing next month. The study will prove if it can successfully fight off the virus. Moderna Inc., who's helping develop the shot, says it will need 30,000 volunteers. Some will get the actual vaccine and others a dummy shot. That way scientists can compare which group ends up with a higher infection rate. Worldwide, there's about a dozen COVID-19 vaccines in the works. Several of them are expected to move into final testing this summer. Well, the Montana Governor Steve Bullock administration has an update after it was criticized for its pace of handing out federally funded aid to Montana businesses. The administration tells us another program to help businesses should be unveiled as soon as next week. Now, that program, in partnership with Montana banks, will help hard-hit businesses defer payments on their commercial loans. State Budget Director Tom Livers says the administration has been negotiating the details with the banks for several weeks. The state will cover a yet-to-be-determined amount of a business's loan costs using money from the $1.2 billion pot of federal funds. The Montana Bakers Association and the Montana Chamber of Commerce say the program will be a win-win proposition for banks and business customers. MTN News reported earlier this week that only 2.5% of those federal funds for Montana have been dispersed so far. Well, more and more businesses are opening back up, but some employers are having a hard time finding employees. MTN's Annie Johnson dove into the issue and files this report.
Unemployment has been a huge topic when discussing the current pandemic. For months, people were without jobs because of concerns with the coronavirus. But now employers are ready to hire employees back, but they find themselves facing new challenges.
Some employees at various businesses we call staffing. And so they were laid off, and then we have offered to put them back to work, and or the employer has. And they have opted not to because, as I've been told time and time again, they're making a lot more money being on unemployment with this extra $600 weekly benefit.
Terry Barber works both with employees and employers through her employment agency business.
It's been very frustrating for employers just all the way around because when they are still working or when they get back to working, they need to work. And if they have employees who are opting to not come back to work, that work still needs to get done.
According to the Montana Department of Labor and Industry website, employees must return to work if their employers offer their job back, except for certain circumstances.
If the employer offers them their job back, they do need to come back. Otherwise, they will not. If they refuse to return to work, then there is a good possibility that they will not be eligible for unemployment,
which would result in no income. The last unemployment rate was taken in April, listing Gallatin County at 12.3%, while the state's unemployment rate is listed at 11.3%. For more information or resources regarding unemployment, including how to file or update a pending case, you can visit the Montana Department of Labor and Industry website. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Annie. Now, staff in Carroll College's anthrozoology program have begun moving into their brand new building on campus. Take a look. The 7,000 square foot Perkins Call Canine Center will house almost every aspect of the college's anthrozoology program. The building features a new classroom with leading technology, indoor and outdoor kennels, 2 research rooms, a veterinary treatment room, canine grooming space, and 2,600 square foot training room. Now, Carroll College was the first anthrozoology undergraduate program in the country, and it's currently one of the school's largest programs.
People hear anthrozoology and then they think human-animal bond. They often go to, I love my dog. And of course that is part of it, but that's a really small part of it. And so anthrozoology is much broader than that. And it's anywhere where there's that intersection between humans and animals.
Now, that new building was made possible through a $1.25 million donation. The Equine Center for the Anthrozoology program will remain off campus, so there's enough room for the horses. Well, we have more ahead on your noon news today, including a look at how the city of Whitefish is promoting responsible tourism. The time now is 12:08, but first, Rob Griggs is in next with your statewide weather forecast.